Yo, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how you can color grade, or I can color grade, we can color grade better in Final Cut Pro. It's a bunch of different ways that you can do this, but I'm going to show you my ways. Okay, so I got some clips in here. These are shot on the Canon R8 in C-Log 3 Cinema Gamut. They're super flat, washed out, and this is one thing that I hate. I hate looking at washed out flat footage. It's trash. And color grading it can be a huge headache, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to show you an easy way to do this. Also, down here, more C-Log 3 Cinema Gamut off the R8. And down here, I have a clip that I shot for a vlog. Typically, I shoot my vlogs in a neutral picture profile. I don't even shoot them log because I want them to already be like easier to color grade and just get out and get done, because I don't want a vlog to be a headache for me. As you can see, the colors on there already look good. It already looks color graded. There's nothing on here. This is just shot neutral picture profile in the proper white balance, and I would put this out like this, but I do add sauce to it, and I'm gonna show you that. First, let's go back up here to the C-Log 3 footage, Cinema Gamut from the Canon R8. I can color this from scratch and add the contrast and saturation and do all my tweaks the right way, but typically I like to just convert it. So if you come up here and click this I button, you can come down to, what is it, camera LUT. Yeah, camera LUT. Inside of Final Cut Pro, they have conversion LUTs already built in, which are pretty good for this C-Log 3 R8 footage in Cinema Gamut. So I'm just gonna click this, and you can see it looks all right. I'm not extremely happy with this, but I think it looks decent where you can tweak it. It's not my favorite, but it gets it back to a place where you can color grade it, and I like that. What I'm really enjoying is Dehancer. So I'm gonna take this off, and this is a plugin from a company called Dehancer. If you come down here on the side, you go to Film Emulation, Dehancer Pro V7. You can drag this over top of it, and as you can see, it gives it a super stylistic look. Dehancer didn't sponsor this video, but they did reach out to me and provide me with Dehancer so that I could try it out and maybe show y'all about it if I liked it, and I love it. So again, this isn't sponsored, they're not paying me, but I love this. So over here, you have all the settings for the Dehancer, right? Typically what I'll do is I'll come here on the log footage and disable all of the things that are enabled on this plugin, right? You got film grain, film print, different halation, all this stuff. I want to disable all this stuff, right? So there's nothing affecting it. So if I cut it off and on, there's nothing affecting it yet, right? Up here at the top, input source Rec 709. That's if your footage is Rec 709. You can change this and you can choose your camera right here. And I think this is really cool. You can go here to select the vendor. It has all these different camera brands. We're gonna go Canon, and it already did something to it because it's given a C200 conversion, but this isn't a C200. You can go down, you can go to R8, but we wanna go down here to C-Log 3 Cinema Gamut because that's the style of log that I shot in. So let's click that. And as you can see, I think the conversion on this Dehancer looks really good. It's extremely saturated right now, but we can tweak that. I do think the conversion in this Dehancer is better than the conversion inside of Final Cut Pro though. But the better thing you can do is you can change all this stuff, exposure, temperature, tint, all these different things. You can add film profiles to it. You can do different expansions with black points, white points. You can change the print. It's so many things. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here to the film and add a film look to it. Just off the rip, that just turned it into a whole vibe. That looks so good. This is the Kodak Vision 3 250D, but if you click on that, as you can see, there is a ton of options of different types of film. I like the Kodak Portra 400 and 800, so let's just see what that looks like. That looks nice. It's nice and like dynamic. It's got a nice faded look to it. It's not too contrasty. The 800, cool. It's a little bit more orange tone. Looks great to me. I'm gonna do undo, because I actually like this 250D from Kodak. So you can push and pull, which I don't really know what this does, but as you can see, it changes the colors and the contrast. So go here, it's a little bit lighter and more orange. Come this way, it's a little bit more contrastier and blue, which I kind of like that contrasty blue look right there. Now, if we come down, you can show this film developer, film compression, and different stuff that you can do to this. I'm gonna go to film grain. I'm gonna enable the film grain back on because it gives it that film look. And as you can see, it's nice grain. It looks good. You can change it from 35, 16 mil, 8 mil, 65s. Typically the 65 is like less grainy and 35 is more, 16 is more, 8 is more. So if we go to 8mm, it's extremely big grain. I like the 65mm ISO 50. It's kind of like subtle. If you come back to the 35, 50 and 250, 500, those are also really nice as well. 35mm grain looks pretty good. So I like the way this looks already. So I'm gonna just play this so you can kind of see what it looks like, the film moving around, make this big screen. it just looks good. It has a vibe. It makes it look nostalgic. It makes it look like a movie. And I didn't even have to do anything. All I did was convert it back and add the film to it. So there's so many more things you can do to this, which I like to do. If you come down on the settings, you can go to the halation. You can enable the halation, which if you click mask mode, you can see where it's affecting. So right here, it's a little red. If you go higher in 16 mil, it gives it a more intense halation, 8. More intense, very intense. You can see where the red halation is, and then we take the mask off. And you can see it just gives it that like old film look where the halation is popping off the edges of different things. Don't hold me to this. I am not an expert on film at all. I don't know anything about film, but I know that this is really cool and it is helping color grading in Final Cut Pro. I was not aware of this, and now that I am in love with it. You got the bloom right here, which will bloom your highlights. So if we enable that, you can already see it makes it soft and bloomy on any type of highlight, and we can click the mask mode and it will show us where it is affecting. So if we do 8mm, you can see slightly right here, and on the side of the cup, and right here a little bit on the window. Take the mask off, and it just looks cool. It has a vibe to it. You could disable it, add it back. It just looks dreamy. It gives it a feeling where it's like not too sharp and not too digital. It gives it this natural feeling. I can't really explain it with my words, but I can see it. It looks really good. I'm not a big fan of bloom all the time, but sometimes it looks cool. I kind of like the 35mm. Sometimes the 8 can be extreme. And the halation is also better like on the 35 and 65. Sometimes, depending on the clip, it could be very extreme at 8 or 16mm. I don't always use halation or bloom either. Like, I like my stuff to look sharp and crispy as well. So it kind of just depends on the project. But just what I did right here, converting it back to, you know, a Rec 709 look, and then adding some of the film over top of it. If we take that off back to flat, it looks dull and like nothing. And then here it looks great. Another thing I like about this is down here in the film developer, if we enable this, we can do color boost, which if you want to bring your color down a little bit to give it more of a like natural color look, you can. Or if you want to boost it up to give it a nice pop of color, you can. The color boost is really nice. And then down here on film compression, you can enable this, and you can really play with a lot of different stuff. So your highlights, or the white impact, you can see right there, you can make it dull and bring it down, or you can make it pop up a little bit. I like to pop it just a little bit, but if my whites are blown out in a clip, then I will definitely bring it back, and I'll show you that on another clip here in a second. But for this specific clip, I like popping it up a little bit. And even down here on expand, you can enable this as well. And one thing I like about this is if my clip is too contrasty, I can bring the black points up and down. So you can make it more contrasty, or you can make it more dynamic looking so that you can see more details in your blacks. I'm more of a contrasty person, so for this one, I'm gonna pop the contrast a little bit. So maybe like a 3.0. I think this looks really cool right here. So we take that off, put it back on. It looks good. That looks fire, right? Another thing I like to do also is add my LUT over top of stuff as well. So as you can see right here on this base grade right here, I have my LUT and another color wheels change. If I just enable this, it gives it a much more contrasty look, and it tweaks some of those oranges and yellows and colors, and that looks even better to me. So if we scrub through that clip, that's vibey. So let's take that off, and what I want to do is I'm going to copy this Dehancer, and I'm going to add it to this color, or this base grade right here. So paste. Let's paste that on there. Let's get rid of this curves right here because we're not using that. Let's actually get rid of this color wheels as well. And we're just gonna have my LUT on the bottom as the base, right? I'm gonna take it off of the main clip right there. So there's nothing on it. We're gonna bring in the base grade. Now all it has is my LUT at 100%. Take that off. Let's add the Dehancer back, which looks good. And let's add my LUT. Way too extreme. So we're gonna bring the intensity of my LUT down. And this is what I do sometimes. I'll add my LUT to it. Maybe like a 0.35 and take it off, add it back. That looks super good. Now let's go to the next clip and see how it looks. This looks very filmish looking because the bloom is extreme. The highlights, the halation is extreme. Let's take off my LUT, and then let's come down here, and I'm going to, take the halation off, which you can see right there, the orange, even around the lights right there, you see it's popping off. If I take it off, you see it's not popping off around it. So boom, boom. We could do the mask mode too, just to see where it's hitting. It's hitting all around in this area. I'm gonna take this down back to 35, super 35, and it gives it less intensity. And we'll take the mask mode off, and it looks pretty good. Let's take it off, back on. It looks cool. It adds a little bit, just a subtle hint of halation to make it look more nostalgic and natural to the eye. Let's take the bloom off because the bloom is kind of hitting hard. It's making it soft. I'm gonna take the bloom all the way off. And even the film, like if you don't want film, you can still have it crispy like that, or you can add the film to give it like a rough, natural feeling. I think this looks good. It's gonna run slow if I play it just because of my computer processor, but that's okay. I just kind of go through and color it and then I will render it. So let's just render it out real quick so we can watch it. Real quick, while it's rendering, I wanna let you know that if you do wanna get Dehancer, you don't have to, but I am highly recommending it because I think it's extremely cool. Before I knew about it, I didn't want it. And then when I got it and I've been using it, I'm like, yo, this is like so good for Final Cut. It's like one of the best color grading plugins for Final Cut, in my opinion, that I know of so far. You could get 10% off if you want to pick it up with the link down below, and my code CR10 it gives you 10% off if you want to pick it up and check it out. You can also, I think they have like a free trial as well, but you should check it out, I'm telling you. Okay, so we got this rendered. Let's play it through so we can just look at it big screen. And it just looks filmish and natural. It looks good. Some of the colors are a little bit too popping for me, like the color around his lips, some of the oranges right here on his ear, even these greens back here. I would go through and I would click on this clip, and then I would bring in, let's see, a hue saturation curves. Now I'm affecting the clip underneath the base grade layer, adjustment layer with everything on it so that it affects underneath of all of that stuff. Now what I would do is use this eyedropper here for the hue versus saturation, and I would click on his lips and kind of drag it out a little circle like that so it gives me directly that. Then if I click this and I hold shift, will not move it. It'll only move it up and down on this line, right? So you can see it's boosting. I would bring this down a little bit just to give it like a less of a magenta feel and bring the color of his lips down. I would also click here and bring this down a little bit too. It's affecting the color of his lips. I would bring that down just so they're not too pink. Bring it back, bring it down more into a natural space, maybe about right there. Now that I'm looking at this green up here, I kind of like it. So I would just go ahead and make a circle right there over that color. And you see I could pull it out or add it, but it kind of affects the whole image, which I don't really like. So I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. And then even right here, this right here, I could bring this down a little bit, which brings that green down in the back, makes it a little bit more natural or neutral tones. And then the blues, I could pop those up like that or bring them down too. I'm gonna actually bring those down. I don't like too much of an aqua blue in my shots, but I think that looks good right there. All right, let's go here. Let's play it full screen. And that just looks good. I think the film grain could be smaller and less intense. It could be more subtle, which I could change that if I go up here, go back to the Dehancer, and then film grain, I could change it to like a 65 millimeter, 70 millimeter. And now that gives it like a little bit more of a subtle film grain. Or we could take it completely off, which sometimes I don't want film grain. It just depends. If I'm trying to go nostalgic or very neutral, like natural feeling clips, I will add the film grain. But sometimes if I want to go super crispy and sharp, I would just take the film grain off, but that looks good. Even for me, it's a little bit too saturated. So I'll add the film grain back. And then right here, we can do enable on the print, and I can bring the color density down or up. You can see this just adds something. It's not like saturation, but it's like it's density to the color. You see it gives it just a punch, but I can also bring it down to give it less of a punch on his ear and like his face and his fingers. So down like that. And I don't know, that looks like the one to me. Let's see. Yeah, this is more my speed, more neutral tones, not very popping, saturated looking. This looks really good. This would be great for like some type of film or voiceover cinematic scene where I want to talk about what was happening and show the nostalgic looking footage of us spending time together, or it could be anything. But the way it colored down looks really good. I probably wouldn't be able to achieve this exact look without Dehancer. So shout out to Dehancer for that. But from from flat log footage to color, that looks good. Again, I like to add my creative Ryan LUT sometimes. So if I come here and I add that too, that also gives it a punch. If I take it off, add it, it gives it a little bit too much contrast. So what I like the colors of my LUT. So I'm gonna go 0.5 and make it a little bit more contrasty, but I'm gonna come back to Dehancer and I'm gonna go down here to expand, and I'm gonna drop this black point so that I can give some more or get some more detail in those shadows, but still have a little punch of my color underneath the film look. But if I bring it down to like, let's see, maybe like a -4, I think that looks good right there. And then also down here on the print, you can bring the exposure up, you can bring it down. I would maybe even bring this exposure up just a slight, maybe like a 1. No, that's way too high. Let's do 0.10. About right there is good. If we take all the effects off and back on, this looks fire. This looks fire. If you want to see what it looks like without the LUT, there's my LUT off of it. Adding my LUT back to it. It just tweaks some of the colors and it adds some type of contrasty look to it, which is typically how I like my stuff to look. But with the dehancer and the film grain and all the cool stuff, it just makes it look even better. This is how I'm kind of doing my color grading right now in Final Cut. So halation, we can add the halation back. We can even add the bloom back to give it a soft, dreamy look as well. That just looks fire. That looks fire, bro. Right here, we got a flat clip, Canon R8, C-Log 3 cinema gamut where I was riding with YC, my homie. We were in the car just getting some shots of, you know, going from one place to another, transitional shots. Yeah, I don't like the way the log looks sometimes. You see this red, it looks kind of magenta. It's just, and it's all ashy. It just looks terrible, right? So I'm gonna click here. I do have my LUT here, but it's disabled, so it's not on, it's not affecting the clip right now, but I'm gonna throw a dehancer on this adjustment layer, and you can see that kind of does something, but I don't like the way that looks either off the rip. But that's because it's affecting the log footage. So we have to go back here, change the source again to choose camera. We're gonna do Canon, we're gonna go to R8, and we're gonna do C-Log 3 cinema gamut. And that actually looks cool already. You gotta convert your footage back. And I think Dehancer does a really good job of converting log footage back to like a Rec 709 where it adds contrast and saturation, and it kind of just brings the life back into a log clip. It makes it so easy so you don't have to worry about trying to do it yourself, and the colors are looking all washed out and ugly or green or purple, and the contrast doesn't look good and it's grainy. It's better to convert your footage using tools like this Dehancer does. Boom, you add that. That looks really good. Now this is also with the film profile Kodak Vision 3 250D right here on it. If we enable that, or disable that, I'm sorry, we have kind of like a more natural look, but it also has film grain and some of the things on it already, which that's fine. I like to go from here and just play around, right? So Kodak Vision, there's so many different film profiles that you can play with, like the Cinestill 50D, that looks cool. It's like warm, the blue's still popping, the sunset looks good, pink, magenta, ugly looking reds on the car. Tail lights have turned to this nice orangish red looking color, which I think looks way better. Let's go up here. We can change to different stuff. This one looks cool too. It kind of gives a flat look with blues in the shadows. It's very flat. You can push and pull to change up some of those colors, like even like right there. That looks good. You can also cut the film off and on. You can see what it's doing to it. Sometimes I like to come down here and cut this film grain off so I can see what's really happening, because the film grain does add a different look to it. So if you take that off, you can kind of see what's going on. Now for even something like this, I would come up here to, let's see, you got the print on. You can change the profile print as well. Film log, Fujifilm look. This Fujifilm, this looks really cool. It gives that dark, moody, bluish, orangish look that I really like, which that's fire to me. And then you can change this target white, right? You can change the way this looks, whether it's like super white or it's more orangish in the whites. You can bring up the exposure just a little bit of the clip. You can bring back some of the tonal contrast just to get, or you can boost it to make it even darker, which that looks cool too. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. Color density, you could drop some of that density in the color, or you can add it where right there. That looks fire. Then you can come down here, we can add the halation, and you can see where it's affecting with the mask on. Take it off, we can make it stronger. But I don't like the halation to be too strong. That's something about me and how I color grade. I don't like halation to be too strong because it can look very ugly. It looks like you gotta have taste with halation. You gotta like slightly add it in so it's nice and subtle. It looks all right. I probably wouldn't add it onto this clip right here, but the bloom looks good. You can see it softens up the edges and the highlights. That looks kind of cool. Film damage is also cool. If you add this, it just adds like little specks and different film damage to the footage. 65 is gonna give you less, 8mm is gonna give you more, I think. Don't quote me, don't hold me to that. But yeah, it looks like 8's giving you more speckles and different things on there. But this looks cool. I mean, this is a very stylistic look. This is something that I might go with, but I kind of been playing with this and going through different profiles lately of film and just messing around with different stuff. So go here, Fujifilm Pro 400H. That looks cool. All right, so it's very contrasty right now. And what I want to do is, let's see, let's come here to the expand, make sure that's enabled. And let's bring the black point up a little bit so we can get some more detail in those shadows. And that looks cool. Gives it a more flat look. You can see the details in the hat and down here on the dashboard now. But this all came from, disable, this ugly looking log footage. So Dehancer is really cool. I've been enjoying color grading with Dehancer. And then if I add my LUT underneath it and drop it down to like a 0.3, and then even take some of the, let's see, where's the contrast at? Tonal contrast, bring some of that contrast out on Dehancer. I like the way my colors on my CR preset make it look sometimes. So I would bring it in to about, personally, maybe about right there, 0.35. I think that looks cool. That looks cool. So many ways that you could do it, but I've just been experimenting. And I think the biggest thing that I'm taking away from using Dehancer right now is the way that it converts the log back to Rec 709. And then literally you could just add on film profile, film stocks, and make it look really good. And I think that the film grain inside of Dehancer looks really good as well. All right, so these are two clips that I shot in log. I'm gonna actually color grade this one. I like, let's right there. Let's make a marker right there because I like that frame. This is again C-Log 3 Cinema Gamut from the Canon R8. I'm gonna drag the Dehancer onto the adjustment layer, and off the rip, doesn't look great because it's log and we gotta change the source, right? Choose camera, Canon, R8. And by the way, this video isn't all about Dehancer. Some of it is, and I wanted to show y'all Dehancer because it's fire, but I'm gonna do other tweaks as well on this one actually. Let's just do that, right? So C-Log 3, Cinema Gamut, and now we have that. So take it off, add it back. That looks good as is. I could use this just like this, right? It's got that film on there. That's what it looks like without the film stock, and then you add the film stock, and that looks fire. Honestly, I would bring the exposure down just a little bit just because of this blown out sky. Push and pull. Let's see what this does. I don't like that very orange. Some people do. It looks very like West Coast or Midwest warm desert vibes. But if you bring it back down, I like those blues and the shadows and that contrast that this adds on the push-pull. Right here on the expand, I would probably bring back the black point a little bit just so I could get a little bit more detail up in their faces and like these shadowed areas on the Cybertruck. But if we bring it back, I don't know, I kind of like the contrasty. Like, you don't always have to see your subject's face. You don't always have to see all that. It's kind of like looking at it as a whole image, in my opinion. Sometimes it doesn't matter about the faces. You gotta make sure the places are looking good. And this is like a desert, cool scene, sky. It's all about the place. It's not so much about their face. So I kind of like it being contrasty. So I'm gonna go up 1 on the black point to add a little bit more contrast to it. Again, film grain, we could take that off. Let's see, that just looks good without the film grain, but the film grain does add something to it while being out there in the desert. I think it does add, so I would use it, but I'd probably bring it down to the 65 just to give it a little bit more subtle. And if you look up there in the sky, when I got 65, it's more subtle, and then 35, you can see it gets really intense. So the 35 looks good, and it's all about the look I'm going for, but I would probably use this 65 to give a little subtle film grain. So that looks good. If I add my LUT underneath it, that looks insanely crazy and overdone. So I would bring that all the way back and then bring it up just a little bit to affect some of the colors. It's adding way too much contrast, but I'm gonna do 0.35 again. And then I'm gonna come back to these black points now that I added my colors like slightly from my LUT, and I'm gonna bring the blacks up a little bit to give it a little bit more dynamic look. And even right down below here, where is it at? Let's see. I'm gonna enable this, and right here again with the impact, you see the sky, I can bring it more poppy, pop in the whites and the highlights, or I can bring those whites and highlights down more flat. Sometimes the flat looks better, so it gives you more of an even look. We'll bring those down a little bit for this one, right? And the white point, let's see. See it pop the white, I'll bring it back a little bit. I'm gonna pop it just a little bit. And then the tonal range, you can see it like makes it darker, and now it's super flat and you can see like a lot of detail, but it kind of takes away some of the brightness. I like bright images to kind of pop and not be like all flat and, you know, dynamic like a movie all the time. I like them to kind of pop a little bit, but I'm gonna bring the tonal range back just a little bit right here. And the color density, you can add a little bit of pop, a little less. It's not really doing too much. I'm gonna add just a little bit to it. And then let's take all the effects off and add them back on. And this looks good. This just looks good, bro. I mean, look at this. Yeah. That's a cool looking clip, man. It looks like we're in a movie. Like, it looks like we're in some type of Western movie out Midwest. Like, this could be in documentary style, or I could be talking like with a voiceover under it. It just makes it look really good. And we came from take off all the effects right here, this ugly log look where it's pretty hard to achieve cut them back on, this look. It's gonna be pretty hard trying to do that from scratch. Dehancer's pretty tight, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm enjoying it. But again, like I said, this isn't all about Dehancer, right? So we could take the Dehancer off, we could take my LUT off, and let's go back to this shot right here. You can click this clip, hit the eye, and then we can go to camera LUT, and we can use the Canon Log 3 Cinema Gamut conversion LUT built into Final Cut. It looks decent. It looks decent. I don't think it looks as good as the Dehancer, but it looks decent, right? And then we can come in here. A lot of times I would just go with a smooth color wheels, right? Take the color wheels, I'll drop down some of the blacks just to give a punch. I click on this arrow right here, and I use my down arrows and up arrows to kind of go one notch at a time. So let's go bring that down. That looks good. I'll bring these mids down so I can bring the whole exposure of this image down, bring the highlights down a little bit because they're popping off in that sky back there. Now I'm gonna come back to these shadows and even lift them back up a little bit, but that looks good right there. I mean, that looks good as well, just like that. Looks clean. Brought it back, converted it back, added a slight color wheels on there, and boom, you can easily get a good color grade with your log footage. Another thing I'll do is add another color wheels over top of that contrast, and I'll come to the highlights and I'll mess around and change the way that it looks, like adding color into the highlights, right? So add some oranges into it, make it look real orange, right? Then come to like, let's do shadows, and let's add like, you can see like this is gonna go into the blacks. I like to add like greenish, bluish into the blacks a lot, which that looks good. Then I might come here to the midtones and play around with this too, like maybe add some yellowish, orangish to it, and that looks good. That looks fire as is. Another thing that I do would be add a hue and saturation curves, and then I might click right here and right here to affect these blues in the sky, right? You could pop them off really big, or you can bring them down to give them that nice deeper ocean blue, which looks really cool to me. This color right here on the truck, I'm gonna grab this dropper for the hue versus hue, right? Which is where you can change colors. I'm gonna grab and click and hold and drag and make a circle around the exact colors that I want, and then I can come here and kind of play around. You see I can make an orange, yellowish, like that's crazy, but let me see, I'm gonna go more orangish tone right there. I'm even gonna make a point out here and drag this green a little bit. You can see the green around the truck and in the sky some and on different places, but I'm gonna bring it down towards more green, and like that looks cool. Like, it's all about playing around and finding that look that you want. This looks really good. The thing about color grading is there's no right or wrong way to color grade. It's all about your preference and knowing how to control the colors and knowing how to control the exposure. That's like huge for anybody that's trying to color better, right? Then everything else on top of that would be extra, like halation or bloom or film grain and things like that. And I think it all is situational. Like, if you got something that you want to look nostalgic, you want to add some grain, you want to add some bloom to it to give it like this dreamy old school look and feel to it. I'm going to take this color grade right here, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to add it over top of this clip right here as well. And you can see that's the color changes that I made over top of it, but you can't see it because we have to put the contrast and the saturation back in. Now you could do this by yourself. I could show you, like, you can bring blacks in like that, and you can bring it back, bring the highlights up, bring some saturation into it, and that looks decent, but I don't think that it looks nearly as good. And now I did that on the clip underneath the adjustments that I made. I don't think it looks nearly as good as if I'm just converting it back using the conversion LUT. Now we go to the eye or click the clip, go to the eye, camera LUT, and you can use Canon Log 3 Cinema Gamut that's built into Final Cut. Click that and boom. Now I think that converts it much better, but we still have work to do because of what we did on this adjustment layer. So I could come back here to the color wheels, and I could bring down the midtones, I could bring down the shadows and make it more dark. But now it looks good. I'd even bring these highlights down because it's popping right here. It was blown out back there, but there's kind of no way to get both of these in unless you have a very dynamic camera. Now I think this is pretty dynamic and it looks good, but like right here's, I think looks good. To me personally, I'd bring these blacks down. I'd even bring the mids down a little bit more. And I think, you know, that looks good. I just took that color grade that I did on this clip and put it on here. And I think it matches. It has a good look to it. It's not perfect, but I like it. And I think that's something to take away from this video when you're doing your own color grading. You need to like it. And as long as you like it, as long as you love it, I think that other people will eventually learn to love it and enjoy it as well. Last but not least, we have the neutral picture profile color coming out of the Canon R8, which is what I shoot my vlogs on typically a lot of times. As you can see, it already looks good. Typically what I would do is I would just go down here to my Creative Ryan video effects folder, and I would drag in my Creative Ryan LUT. And you can see it adds like some contrast and some color tweaks, sets 0.65, At full intensity, it's just way too much. I usually do 0.65, but even right here, I'd probably do like a 0.5 just to bring back some details and definition in those shadows on my face. And I think that looks cool. Take it off, put it back on. I think it adds a cool little color change and some contrast to the image, which I personally like. But then I would add more. Like I would go into color wheels and maybe like lift the blacks a little bit, bring down the mids a little bit. For this one, I just want to show you Dehancer again, because Dehancer is awesome on top of drop that over top of it. Dehancer is also really cool over top of just neutral picture profile footage. Like you can shoot with your contrast and stuff. You don't have to shoot log, and you can do a lot of tweaks with the Dehancer, which I think is cool. So since this is already in neutral, we don't have to change the input source, which camera it is and all of that, because it's already shot with the Rec 709. So the source is Rec 709 footage. It's neutral picture profile. I hope that's clear. I hope I'm making myself clear with what I'm saying. So if you take this off and add it back on, you can see that's a cool look. That Kodak Vision 3 250D is a cool look. But again, there's so many different ones you can go through. This one's like a black and white. Fuji Chrome, like that one looks cool. As you can see, it brought the shadows up and it makes it look more dynamic, which is really nice. And the film grain also affects those shadows as well. You can come here, try this one out. That one looks cool. It just needs some saturation in my opinion. This one looks cool. It's a little bit too blue for me. Down here, that one looks cool. That's actually really cool. That looks like a documentary type of color. Polaroid. This one's cool. It's very lifted. It needs more contrast in my opinion. Oh, this one's cool. I'm actually gonna roll with this one. So what I would do here is it lifts up the blacks and stuff. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna actually crush the blacks a little bit more down. So let's go 3, 4, about like there. 4 is cool. Let's bring the film developer up. Let's bring the film compression up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the film compression, enable that. And now I can tweak those whites back there. I'm gonna bring them down so you can see more. If I boost them, bring them down, you can see more definition in these mountains and hills back there that are looking hazy. White point, if I do that, it'll blow it out, but I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. So it gives it like a grayish look instead of bright white. Kind of just add some definition and details in that background. Tonal range, I can even, ooh, the tonal range is crazy. That like brings way more definition in the background. I'm gonna bring that up a little bit. Color density, let's see what this does. This is adding a little bit of color back here. You can see it's orange, and then if I take it down, it's more whitish, bluish. I'm gonna boost that all the way to 100. I think that looks cool. Let's take off everything, add it back. Everything. It still looks good without anything, but it just has a different look to it right here with the Dehancer on. Let's enable this film developer. And let's see right here with this boost on the contrast. I'm gonna add a little contrast. Let's do like an 8. Then color boost. I'm gonna boost the colors. Ooh, if you could boost the color, ooh, that looks good. It's a little bit too much. You don't want it to be too contrasty and saturated. I know that that's one thing that I've seen online is some people don't know where to lay their saturation. I think when you go too hard on saturation, it looks unnatural. But if you can bring it down to a point where it looks natural to your eye, like this looks like how it looked when you were there, that's the point that you kind of want to go for. You don't want to go too saturated. So I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. I think that looks good. I think that looks good right there. That color boost is nice. So if I want to go for this super flat look, again, I can, or I can take this film compression off and keep that nice pop and blow out the sky a little bit more. And it just gives more of a contrasty pop and separates my head from the background a lot more. But if I bring it down, you get more details back there. It's kind of like very subjective in how you want to roll with it. But I like this right here. This is more of my speed, but this makes sense if you're like looking at a film or a movie or a cinema. You kind of want your whites and your bright tones to kind of be balanced with your blacks and your lows, or lows, blacks, your darks. But this looks cool. It's, like I said, it's very subjective. I'm gonna actually take it off. I like the way this looks as is. So you take the Dehancer off, take my LUT off, boom, boom, add it all back, and that looks good, man. I'm gonna render it so we can watch it real quick so you can see what it looks like. All right, we got it rendered out. Let's play it big screen. That just looks good, bro. It looks so nice with the film grain. Everything about this clip just looks good. I shot this neutral. I didn't shoot it log. So whatever people are saying online where you feel like you have to shoot log and maybe you don't like shooting log, you don't have to. You can shoot it in standard and neutral. You can shoot it with regular contrast in it, and you can use something like Dehancer or even just a regular color wheels to lift your blacks and drop your whites. It might not look as dynamic, but it still looks good. And if you enjoy that process better, I think that's very important. You have to trust and enjoy the process when you're color grading personally. You can't do it the way other people tell you to do it just because that's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving you an insight on how I color grade. I've been loving my LUT. I've been loving this Dehancer. Again, if you want to check it out, there's a link down below. You can use my code to get 10% off. But this is kind of how I've been doing things, and I like the way that these clips are turning out. I think that my projects are looking good. If you want to go check out some more videos on my page and see some of the color grades and see if you like it, maybe this is a way that you want to start incorporating into your color grading process how I'm doing it. So I don't know. Hope that you enjoyed this. I know this is a longer video. Hopefully you made it here to the end. If you did, say color grade down in the comments. That would be cool. Just so I know that you actually watched it and you maybe learned something. Hopefully you took something out of this video. Need some water. All right. Whoa, I'm dropping things. This is insane. I'm getting nervous now. We're messing up. Water. All right. This video is over. Hope you enjoyed it. Slap the like button. Color grade in the comments if you made it this far. Thanks for watching. Have fun. Go color grade something.